What's up, everybody? You are now tuned in to StarCHaser Central, a podcast about Charles Hamilton, music, moments, and everything in between. I'm Stick Braxton.
And I am Mike D. Jackson.
What's good, brother? I see you are the hitman today.
Just wanted to show him some love. I haven't wore one of these in a while. I got three of them, and I think the world is tempting me because it's still way too hot to wear them. But I see they got these hoodies, zip up hoodies for Bret Hart, where they got one that's like the more pink, kind of like my jacket I got that's like pink. I'm
Mm.
like, that's too similar to that, so I really don't need that one. They got like a black one that's similar to my black tank top that I have that's like this. But
Mm.
I'm like, man, that one's cold right there. It's like $90, but I'm like, the money's not the problem. It's like I don't really need it. Also, it's too hot. I'm like, if it's still there later on, I might. But there's been times where I've been like, fuck it, I'm buying it now. So I'm trying to like appease myself by just wearing this. So hopefully, I don't go overboard. But it is what it is. I see you got your pink beanie on.
Yeah, man. Little color, little splash of color, you feel me? Opposite of the little blue or whatever. You ever think about getting a Bret Hart leather jacket?
No. Only reason why just because I already got three of these. I got the pink jacket. I think I have a Bret Hart I've shorts, Bret Hart shorts. I have like so much stuff already where it's just like not that I don't want it. It's just like I think I need to slow down because at one point I was about to buy like a Bret Hart jersey that was like straight pink. I'm
Mhm.
talking like a baseball jersey. I'm like, bro, no disrespect, but it's like it's a lot of Bret Hart stuff. I'm like, let me chill for a while on the Bret Hart stuff. So that's just where I'm at with it.
I mean, two things. One, you know, he's one of the best of all time, so I wouldn't have been upset about that. The problem is that, you go out and they see that jersey and they have no idea who it is.
Yeah, we've talked about that already, and that's another thing where I don't want to deal with that. But at the same time, I'm like, number one, he's my favorite wrestler of all time. So that doesn't fucking matter. Like for me, I'm like, if I really want it, I'm gonna buy it. At the same time, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna just chill. But of course, yeah, like you said, there's people that I guess now we're at the point of like John Cena and Randy Orton, like they know that audience. Like some of
Mhm.
them don't even know like Stone Cold apparently. I'm like, we're not gonna go there. I'm not gonna do it again. Not gonna go there. But you know.
Ugh, we're getting old, man. But today we are reviewing another tape. I would say this is one that people talk about. It's funny. I hear about it a lot, but it still feels like it flies under the radar based off of how often it gets brought up. And make sure I'm saying this correctly. Is it C.A.T.S Can or C.A.T.S Can?
This tape is C.A.T.S Can. Yeah, C.A.T.S Can. C.A.T.S Can came out in 2011, September 23rd of 2011. This tape is pretty interesting because I'm gonna go into it a little bit more, but the reason why you've kind of heard about the tape, but also flew under the radar, it's a lot of stuff with this tape. So even before this tape, like Charles had a crazy time before this tape even happened. So I got some notes on here. So what happened was, if I remember, it was like June or July. Charles was feeling a little funny, and he checked himself into a mental hospital. You know what I mean? So he went to that mental hospital. He's going for a little bit, and then when he came back, I remember this. If you guys never seen this before, Charles came back in a wheelchair, and people were like, "What is he doing in a wheelchair?" And he was talking about how his lower body was like shot, and he just wasn't feeling well, but he's kind of getting back together. He went to the mental hospital to get himself back right. So he got out of there. He did like a 30-minute freestyle on double XL as well. But this is not the 30-minute freestyle we're talking about from 2015.
Mhm.
This is from 2011. So he did that. And then he got arrested months later for punching the cop. So then he punched the cop, got in trouble, and that was like in December. And then he was finally let go like a month or two later. And then they said, hey, we recommend you check yourself into a mental facility. So he went to another one. You feel me? So he went to a mental hospital because he felt a certain way, and this was like in New York. He went to like a one in New York originally. Then he got out, got in trouble again, got arrested, went to another one, and then he went to C.A.T.S Can. So it was a lot of stuff Charles dealt with right before this tape even came out. You feel me? It's a lot of shit. You feel me?
So is that's the excuse me, that's the reason behind the title?
Yeah, so a lot of people were kind of confused at the time. They're like, C.A.T.S Can, what is that? And Charles said, oh, C.A.T.S Can. C.A.T.S is the place that he went to. And the place he went to, it stands for Community Assessment and Treatment Services. That's C.A.T.S. So he would call it C.A.T.S for short. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's gonna answer a question I have later, but we'll get to that as we get there. Yeah, so a 2011 tape. I feel like we've covered a few of these. I feel like they range in how we felt about them. But how about yourself? How did you feel about this when you first heard this?
So it's crazy because I was around and in the StarCHaser Central group and the StarCHaser Lounge when this tape first came out. I remember hearing it, members be like, hey, Charles got a new tape. And this is like, hey, Charles just came back, he's out of jail, out of the mental hospital, out of both of them.
Mhm.
Here's some new music, y'all. And I remember hearing it. I'm like, all right, it's all right. It's one of those things where I think it was like he's getting his feet wet again. So a lot of us were like, okay, well, this is where he's at right now with it, whatever. In the next coming months and whatnot, we'll probably expect some more from him. For me, I'm like, it's okay. There's a few songs I definitely remember from this tape, but like I don't know why I never really went back to it that often. Like I would go back to a couple songs from the tape. I'm like, oh, I remember this from the tape. But going back to just fully listen to it, I can't remember the last time I did. It'd be like a handful of times I've heard this tape like front to back. Not counting us reviewing it, but back in the
Mhm.
day. But what about you?
Uh, this was my first time listening to this tape.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um, I remember some songs on here because there was one song in particular, one very specific song that everybody was like, yo, this is a fire song. We gotta play this. You gotta listen to this. So I think I checked that out at some point. But as a complete listen, today was well, this week was my first time listening. So I wanted to see what the hype was about. I wanted to see if it met I guess Charles's, level of greatness that I know him for, and my personal, taste in Charles's music. So this was going to be an interesting review for me.
It's definitely going to be an interesting review because when I was doing research, I'm like, I know we talked about this tape like in the groups and all that type of stuff. So
Mhm.
I would like to bring this segment up. What did the Star Chasers say?
Uh-huh.
So, what did the fans of Charles Hamilton of yesteryear and of the past say back then in 2011 when this tape came out? And it's a wide range of everything.
Hmm.
People loved it, people hated it, people But I'm gonna read some, not gonna read the names or whatever. I'm gonna spare some of y'all. But one person said, people got me tight saying C.A.T.S Can is weak. Charles is the dopest. This man forever makes hits. Speaking of which, what does C.A.T.S mean? And of course, I just explained that a little earlier.
Yep.
But a lot of us didn't know at all. We were just like, what is this? We know it's the mental hospital. What does the CAT stand for? CAT can.
Hmm.
Um, other people, someone else said C.A.T.S Can all day, revoking my title as Star Chaser because a lot of Star Chasers aren't actually in full support of Charles like I am. And it's like, man. So there's a lot of people that just wasn't really rocking with it. I see someone else say C.A.T.S Can was not good. Someone said C.A.T.S Can was worse or just on the same level as what tape was it? Death of the Mixtape Rapper. Someone said that it was bad. And it's just like this, and then someone else is like, well, that's my favorite tape, definitely mixtape rapper. And then I gotta keep reminding myself, I'm like, if we're going from 2008 to 2011,
Yeah.
that's it. That's where we're at right now. There is no
Yeah.
2012 and everything else. So it's like there's a lot of people just hating on it. And then the last thing I'll read, someone said, my final verdict for C.A.T.S Can, amazing beats, lackluster lyrics, um, way improved flow. But they said, I'm happy to hear Charles again. So it was a mixed bag. And for me, I'm just like, man, I I I, I don't really remember having like positive or negative. I just never been like, well, that's cool. It's all
Mhm.
right. So, but yeah, it's very charged in StarCHaser Central and a little bit in the lounge too.
You know, first of all, this segment, I'm glad you brought it up, but I assume there's some people out there that are listening and they hear this stuff like, oh shit, that's me. Um, so hopefully as we go along, there'll be some more positive stuff in there. But
I doubt it just because most of these names that I see, I don't see these people at all anymore. I'm pretty sure these are the
got it.
people that like after like 2013, when they're just like, fuck it, I'm done, they're out. You know what I mean? Like there's only like one name on here where that person still is a, I guess you say Charles Hamilton fan or Star Chaser,
Mm.
but I don't see them commenting on Charles's stuff. So, but everyone else is definitely people that just like pieced out. They probably just got tired of like the music Charles was making at that time. So, but like I told you before, 2011 very charged year. A lot of stuff going on. Like I said, two mental hospitals, getting arrested. You know what I mean? So it's just like we're just getting him back now. So it's interesting to see where his head was at with this tape.
Yeah, the 11 tape, 11 song tape. Um, Now I did notice, was there multiple covers for this? I know the one that we have as far as this playlist is, it's looks like it was maybe created by Star Chaser, maybe. Is there an original one?
For me, the original one I consider is the one where you see all the video game characters
Yeah.
playing the arcade and Charles is on the little screen or whatever.
Mm,
That's the original one for me. That's when I first saw. So I think that's the original C.A.T.S Can.
okay.
The other one is it looks like it's in like some type of like city or whatever, like all these bright lights and all that. I'm not sure who made that one. I'm sure there's like one or two other ones. Shout out to everyone that made alternate covers. I do know there was one Star Chaser. I apologize because I'm not sure which cover they were talking about. But
Mm,
when this tape got coverage on like Complex and on like Dat Piff and all that type of stuff, then someone was like, "Yo, who put my cover up on Blase Blah, whatever?" Because he didn't
mhm.
get credit for it. And then he's like, "Oh well, he just wanted to get credit for it." Just be like, "Yo, I just want y'all to know, like, hey, I made that. Like,
Yeah.
I appreciate it's being shared, but my name's not getting out there. You feel me?" So, but I'm not sure if he made the original one I'm talking about with all the cartoon characters or another one. So,
Yeah, it looks like the city one was created by a John Fletch. So
oh,
shout out to
John Fleck.
John.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John made the one for I think Cold Core Habits, the one that had the dude on the table, like eyeing
Oh
the
yeah, okay.
yeah, he's made a good amount of covers. So shout out to John.
Yeah, shout out to John, man. But let's get right into it. I think we can do the whole tape since it's a shorter, a reasonably lengthy tape. It starts off with, is Beyonce really with Jay-Z?
Yeah. So with this song, first thing it's like, all right, so what is this, Charles? First song coming back talking about Beyonce and Jay-Z? Like, is there some type of infidelity thing going on that maybe
Hmm.
Charles knows about in the business that he shouldn't be talking about? We know how Charles is. He talks about some stuff that maybe shouldn't be, you
Hmm.
know. But with this song, first starting, it's a hot beat, really short song though. I'm contemplating if there should have been a second verse on there or not.
Hmm.
But the more I kept listening to it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just say no. I think personally, I really would want a second verse, and he could have probably said anything on there, and I probably still would have been cool with it. But for him to just come on here, really short, sweet, just say something real quick, get some 16 bars or whatever, hook, wrap it up. I'm like, it's a good song. But I was wondering, I'm like, what does this have to do with Beyonce? Because I feel like he didn't really necessarily say anything about like, oh, is Beyonce really with Jay-Z on the song? He did mention um talking about giving rabies or getting rabies from her. And there's a tape that we covered already previously where it's funny because he said that he wanted to make sure that if he was fucking Beyonce, that he was clean so he wouldn't give her no diseases,
Yeah.
as he stated. So it's funny that even though those two tapes aren't correlated with each other, but he said that previously, and then this tape, and I'm like, all right. But overall, good intro. I rock with it. Short but sweet. How about you?
Um, I wrote down it's a hard beat, for sure. I said the verses were okay. It's an okay intro. Um, I don't know. It's interesting because like you said, it's one verse, and there's a lot of these songs today that's gonna have like one verse, and is he's in and out basically quick. Um, Very few songs have like multiple verses, and I don't know. I don't know if this is one of the ones where it's like, would it benefit from another verse, or is it just let's leave it as it is? Because like this verse, it's okay. It's not like anything blowing me away, right? And it's like, oh, do I add another verse? But if it's gonna be like this first verse, it's like it might even bog it down a little bit more. So it might be beneficial just to leave it as is. The beat's hard. I'll say that, and I feel like this could be a common theme as
Yeah.
we go along. But yeah, it's okay. Serves okay as an intro. Um, as I'm looking at some of these titles, I'm starting to think, is this the beginning of some of the wild titles that we start getting, right? Because I'm thinking about the title naming conventions he uses before this tape, right? Or just before 2011 in general. They weren't necessarily quote unquote normal, but they were very easily accessible, easy to like kind of understand what he's going at. I feel like this is the time period where he starts putting out stuff like this, like "It's Be Really with Jay." It's like it makes you think, but it's like, what's really the purpose behind naming it that, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing in the song that would suggest why he would name it that. It's almost like he heard the beat, he did the song, and that was the first thought that came in his head. So let me name it that, right? So I don't know. I wonder if that's why he chooses that, and then wonder if this is the beginning of that era.
I would definitely say, maybe not with the titles, but definitely like some of the stuff Charles would say.
Mhm.
It started to be, I think this is where it's like Charles came back in like 2011 with this tape, and then we started seeing things unravel where like, I guess you could say the weirdness when Charles started getting like we all knew that like he was a little different. Let's say he was rapping about Sonic, rapping about video games and whatnot. So if you were already like a nerd or into that type of stuff, whatever, you were already cool with that. But like he came back, and then like stuff like this was starting to happen, and then you're starting to be like, all right, bro, what's going on, man? Like,
Mhm.
this is when it starts to be like, yo, he's crazy, or he's wild, he's weird. It's like all that stuff was going on.
Mhm.
I want to read this real quick because Complex wrote this when this tape came out. They said, "Am I the only one hoping for a proper Charles Hamilton comeback?" That's kind of like a backhanded thing right there. You feel me? It's like, yeah, they want a comeback, but a proper one. What do you mean a proper one?
Mhm.
I'll keep reading. It's sometimes painful rooting for the kid. I mean, I don't know. Hamilton's an interesting character, and part of what makes him interesting is probably his unpredictability. But at this point, after all he's been through, drugs, mental health, institutions, being punched in the face, wouldn't the most unpredictable and most rewarding thing he could do is to create focused, coherent material that doesn't blur realities with far too detailed cartoon references, obscure themes, and controversy? Still, I'm a Charles Hamilton fan. I hope I can be more proud of that one day. So it's like stuff like that. People are already saying that in the news. Certain Charles Hamilton fans, like I said, like the one guy was like, "Yo, I'm not calling myself a StarCHaser anymore because all y'all are basically shitting on him." And you got people that are like, "Yo, I want to be a fan of him and I want to be loud and proud about it, but I can't because he's too fucking weird or whatever the case is." You feel me?
Mhm.
So it's like this is definitely around that area where like if you're not on the bandwagon now and you're getting iffy about it, you might just start backing up now.
Yeah.
This is probably when people started backing up a lot now.
Yeah. That quote, um, I get it. I understand what he means. I don't understand. I don't like the cartoon references part of it because it's like, if I think that's his niche, right? That was his thing. Like he was able to attract a fan base using the Sonic references, using like the video game sounds and stuff like that, something that's recognizable to us, and and that's how he attracted us. But then we started listening to his musicianship and all that stuff. So that's how he got us, right?
Yeah.
Now, when he says the focus and the coherent and stuff, they're not blurring like different realities, I can understand that because it's like sometimes it feels like we have to do so much to even understand like a percentage of what he wants us to know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes you just want to throw on a track and be like, "Oh, cool. I know exactly what the song is about," right? But it started to feel like it was hard for us to enjoy the music without having to try to become like a professor of what is he talking about, right? It's like we lost that accessibility that was there from the beginning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but think about how much time we had of it, which is not much, like say 2008 to 2010, 8,
True.
9, 10, 3 years. So 2011 till current day.
Yeah.
So when people are like, "Oh, yo, he's so cryptic. I wish he'd be welcome to my world."
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah.
me being part of the StarCHaser Central in the lounge and all of us, like seeing him put certain stuff out there on his blogs and whatnot, like it's been like that since. So anytime we talk about oh, I wish he was more focused, I wish he wouldn't
Mhm.
freestyle as much off it. It's been going on since
Yeah.
2011. And so it's one of those things where definitely like I agree in some aspects, but at this point, not say 2011, but like after a certain point, you get to a point where you just realize, bro, like this is what he's doing. I
Mhm.
mean, back then it made a lot more sense for us to be like, yo, what is he doing? Because we don't get it. It was like 4 years, 5 years into his career, mainstream wise, whatever you want to call it. But after
Right.
that, it's just like, bro, this is what he's doing, and he's continued to do it to this day. He's changed some things up, but but bro, this is what it is.
Yeah. Next track is why am I looking at my paper? Next track is an answer giving hook. Um, Same thing. I had the same basic notes was another hard beat. Versus just they weren't speaking to me, is what I said. I was like, I want something that's gonna I can latch on to. And it just felt like I like the hook. The hook's fun. I did
Yeah,
like the hook. But it's just like the verses just into it. It's like you get that hook and you're like, okay, this is gonna be something like fire. He's gonna really like lash out or like, really give some like braggadocious bars, but we don't really get that as much as I'd like. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I kind of wrote the same thing. I wrote another short song, but good, funky beat. The name and answer giving hook. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this has to do with the first song because like,
Hmm.
oh, is Beyonce really with Jay-Z? Hey, I got an answer giving hook. None of y'all can fuck with me. Like that doesn't tell me anything about Beyonce or Jay-Z, but
Right.
we can't fuck with them. So that's that. I agree with him on that one. I'm like, all right. Um, Short but sweet again. So it's one of those things where part of me is just like, with this one, I'd probably be okay with it just being like one verse. So I'm like,
Hmm.
it's cool. It's still like, man. So now I can see certain people feeling a certain way. It's like you got two short songs. Is he just doing like one verse songs or whatever? It's like, man. So, but so far right now, I'm like, I'm cool. I'm cool right now. We'll get into the next song and then we'll see, if it's going to be like a full song or are we going to get more of the same. So far I'm like, it's cool. I'm cool with this.
He follows that up with one for JC.
So here's the crazy thing. I didn't really notice this until now. That beat that Charles made for me a little while ago. I made that song because he
Yeah.
named that one for Mike D. Jackson. So like I'm like, oh, so he's been doing that for a while. Where if I guess he's naming certain beats for certain people or
Mm.
whatever, one for whatever. Um, this beat is awesome. It's so crazy. I forgot this song existed, not the beat, because I remember this beat came from a beat tape. I think it's called "I Know Y'all Ain't Got These." I
Hmm.
remember, I remember getting it from there, and I made a song to it like in 2012, and I remember being like, "Yo, man, I wish Charles would have rapped to this." And for some reason, I just remember he rapped to it now. But like
Yeah.
for like the longest time since 2012, I'm like, I forgot that he even rapped to this because this is not one of the songs I would normally go to on this
Yeah.
tape. There's like some songs further down where I go to, but it has that rap rock, mixed
Hmm.
good blend with it. Um, I just wish I'm just kind of upset. I'm like, damn, I forgot this song happened. This is like the first full song on the tape, so I guess you could say this is like the official intro if someone wants to say that because it's the
Hmm.
first full song. But dope bars, catchy hook, really good. I really enjoy the song. Like I said, I just wish that I knew it existed. I really love that beat ever since 2012, but I forgot that it even existed just because I'm more familiar with just the instrumental than the song. But I like the song.
So this is funny because like now this song is the reverse of what the first two song was. The beat's okay to me. I don't like it as much as the first two, but I like the verses on this one. Like I think the verses on these there's something more. there's some more substance here. You know what I'm saying? So it feels like I said, it feels like a song. So I think that helps it a lot. I asked you last week because when I heard the song, I was like, I know this hook. What are these bars from? And I was like, I've heard this. We've heard this. We've listened to a song like this. That hook is from Throw Some Pink from the Binge Volume 1.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
would never.
I
Damn.
thought he was rapping. I was like, and I started rap. I was like, I've never heard this song. Why do I know these lyrics? And I was like, yeah, da, da, da. I was like, and then I started rapping the rest. I was like, oh, that's where it's from. So yeah, this is the of the three so far. I think this is the best song that's played so far. Like I said, it is a song, and it has more of a substance to it. Like he's actually rapping about something on here. Um, I still don't. I'm still waiting for that one that's gonna be like, okay, now the tape for me has started. But for right now, this is the best one of the bunch so far.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, the one part in the hook, he says, my bars are so complex, I don't get mad if they don't get it. So,
Yeah,
especially at that time, it's, people just, a lot of bars Charles would have, or just certain things you say that might have been cryptic, where it's just like, that's just part of his thing. And also I guess you say the bridge, the home. I don't know if I like how I felt about it originally, but like just I was driving in the car doing that, like listening to the song, home, home.
yeah.
I was getting into it. Do it. I was getting into it, so I rock with the song legit. So
I think the next one we have is Jeff Diston meetings. Now, the question I had before, and I feel like again, I feel like I know the answer now based off of the title. Who are these people? I assume they are people that work at that facility.
more than likely, I couldn't find any names like for any of them, but Jeff Distant, just yeah. But here's the thing, because Charles has mentioned the name Jeff a bunch of times.
Hmm.
Sometimes he's talking about Uncle Jeff, talking about Jazzy Jeff, talking about Uncle Jay, as in Jay-Z, or
Hmm.
his other Uncle Jay. Um, I'm assuming because Jeff Diston meetings, like I said, just that's probably who was holding the meetings when he was in
Hmm.
C.A.T.S Can. So it's possible. It is. I'm not sure. It could be one of his uncles, could be someone else he knows, a friend named Jeff. Don't know. Um, what I do know is that I really wanted this to be on the CH mix, on the Chex mix. It did not get on the mix because of another song we put on there from this tape.
Hmm.
But I feel like this definitely would have been on there as well, which is great. Um, I don't know, like it's one of those things where I always like the song, but for the longest time I forgot it was on this tape until like probably a couple months ago.
Hmm.
Where I remember like I remember the song and the name. And I'm like, what is that from?
Yeah.
But regardless, I really like the song. Really great song. I think it's one of the highlights of the tape. When I was looking at certain people saying, "Oh, I like the tape," or "I don't like the tape," or "I only like a few songs from this project," I think this is one of the songs that like most people said they generally liked. So, it's a great song you dance to. He had his own dance in there, one hand in the air, like you taking attendance. Just that's a new move. Most people don't. It's simple too, and
Yeah.
Charles really didn't like dancing either. So that's something cool. I like the song. I like it. So I think so far for me, best song on the tape right now. So for me, I'm like first two songs, all right. Third song, I'm like, oh, I'm rocking with it. Fourth, I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, we're getting the high gear right now. So I'm liking this right now. What about you?
Down, girl, play with your kitchen. You scared, you'll be safe in an instant. You cross me, you'll be laying in quicksand. Let's listen, Jeff Diston. Jeff Diston, Jeff Diston, Jeff Diston, Jeff Diston, Jeff Diston, Jeff Diston.
But favorite up to this point, I really like Jeff Diston. The hook could be a little bit more, but he does add like a little bit at the end of it to kind of differentiate it from just saying Jeff Diston. Jeff, you know what I'm saying? So that's cool. But that beat is crazy. Did you suggest this one for the Chex mix? I don't remember.
Yeah, I did. I said it's between because what I did was I said it's two songs from this tape. It's this song and then another song we'll get to later. And then you're like, well, let's go with the other song. And I'm like, I'll go with Jeff Diston. And you're like, nah, let's go with the other one. So I'm like, all
Got
right.
it.
So because we have that rule, we can only do one per
Right,
tape.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess I don't regret it. because I do feel like the other one has like a little bit more of a dance feel to it. A more, eh, I feel like it would play more at a dance party. But this beat is crazy, regardless, right? Like this is an insane beat. Um, Charles is going off on this song. Like I said, this definitely my favorite. This is where the tape starts for me. Like, all right, cool. Now I'm on board. I'm settled in my seat. You know, the buckle up seat, the buckle up light is off. I can get up and walk across the plane. This is a good song. I really like this song.
Right. Gotcha.
Um, Linda Cole's interest music. You know how dumb I am.
I think I know what you're going to say,
You know
but
what I'm about to say, right?
you thought Linda McMahon?
Bro, I swear to God. I swear to God, bro. I said when I clicked, but I was like, all right, Linda, and also it was Linda entrance music. I was like, did I listen to the song? Like, this isn't Linda McMahon's entrance music. What is he talking about, bro? And then I looked at it today. I was like, oh shit, that says Linda Cole. And then I stopped. I paused. I said, who the fuck is Linda Cole?
I mean, you could have like it could have been an honest mistake where you're like mixing up Linda McMahon and Michael Cole. You know what I mean? Like Linda Cole.
Maybe.
Like, what is this? You know? And definitely, I think probably the first time I heard the song, like I might have thought the same thing too. Where I'm like, yeah, she has that like ding, 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 ding. It's a WrestleMania. It's like the first ever WrestleMania thing for
Yeah.
Linda McMahon. So anyway, with this song grew on me because like when I first heard the song, like going back to this tape, I'm like, all right, I think this is like where it goes down a little bit. Where I'm like, all right, well, 4 songs I like. This one might be the one that I'm not really a fan of. The
Hmm.
more I listen to it, the more I started liking it more. This is what I think about with this song. I feel like how this song sounds, right? It sounds like this was supposed to be the original like intro to the tape. Like
Hmm.
it has that sound of like an intro to some type of tape. So
Hmm.
maybe this was the intro to the tape originally. And then obviously they got some more songs under the belt. And it's like, all right, this doesn't feel like the intro no more. So let's move it down.
Hmm.
Actually, let's take it off. No, because if I take it off, then it might not fit on anything else. So let's just move it down here and then just this is the best spot it's going to be at.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. Overall, song's okay. Um, it's one of those things where like the more I listen to it, like especially the hook, the you are like eventually I was just like, you know what? It just sounds like it's supposed to be like an intro and it just ended up
Mhm.
not being an intro. But I'm like, it's cool though. It's okay.
Yeah, I literally wrote down, I said, I can't figure out if I like it. I don't dislike it, but I can't figure out if it's something that I'm like, oh, I actually like this song or I like this record. Um, yeah, that you are thing is kind of interesting. I don't know if I'm a fan of that. But I like your point. It does sound like an intro. I feel like I feel like you should start a tape off with like a song and like that first, is be really with Jay. That sounds more like like an interlude or something. Like it should be like somewhere it should be in this spot actually. You know what I'm saying? Like if you switch those two, I think it may sound better. Um, but yeah, I don't dislike the song. I just don't know if I like it enough to ever play it again. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like, oh, I hate this song. Like I don't like this song, right? But it's like
Right.
I'm not like gonna rush out of my way to listen to this song, or if somebody's like, yo, you want to throw on Linda Cole's interest music. I'm like, I can do without it. You know, it's just one of those things. I don't know how to really explain it.
Yeah, I get you. Like I said, the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, okay, I'm cool with it. Because at first, I remember being like, all right, well, I might start skipping this, but now it's to the point where I'm like, I don't necessarily want to skip it. I'll just let it play through. And
Yeah,
then, like I said, there's certain things about the song, like I said, the hook, like kind of just like keeps me like, all right, well, I'm gonna keep listening to it. And then like the little breakdown, the ones, 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 ones,
yeah,
one, ones. I'm like, little silly things like that. Or like in the verse. He said, y'all can get this or you can slap, stuff like that,
yeah,
little Street Fighter reference. I'm like, stuff like that. I'm like, I'll stay. I'll let it stay. But like I said, definitely, like I said, I don't know exactly where it would fit because if you do put it on the front, you might lose people instantly. And we talked about that before,
that's
where
true.
some
Yeah,
people could be like, well, so it's one of those things where no matter where you put it, this is probably, like I said, one of the songs where most people weren't feeling, and you got to put it somewhere on the tape. And as long as you bring the next song or whatever, next couple songs up, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. So,
That's a good point because like the benefit of that first song is the beat's hard, right? So like it can keep you there. It's like I might not like this, I might like this, but like that beat's hard. So if I'm gonna get more of these type of beats, I'll keep listening, right? So it's like I think that's really the benefit of those first two songs being there. And if you put that here, like it's not the best beat on the tape, Linda Cole's, um, but it is a song. I feel like you said, it sounds like an intro. So yeah, it's tough. You got to weigh those two options of what you want to do. So you make your decisions how he does, and Charles knows what he's doing. The next song is at Beyonce, uh, parentheses, the Jenny Baker collection. I had this as a good song. I like this song. I think it's a good record. I think it's better than Jeff Distance. It's right there with Jeff Distance. So if it's like it's neck and neck, I'll say for me. Um, I did like the question at the end. I don't know if that ending was needed. The whole snippet with him talking. I don't know who he's talking to. Um, but I'll ask you after you give your review of the song.
gotcha. All right. So, second Beyonce reference. He said, I'm gonna start this off with at Beyonce. This is definitely like one of the popular songs from this tape.
Mhm.
The intro to the beat, it's like mesmerizing, hypnotizing because he doubled it up or whatever, but then delayed part of it, and then it just goes into the beat regular. It's a definitely one of my favorite Charles Hamilton beats. Maybe not of all time, but it's definitely like up there. Like if you're just talking about like instrumentals,
Yeah.
I'm like it's a dope beat. Um, the hook, I love the hook too. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where like when Charles sings on certain hooks or whatever, like when he sings like this, like along with the sample, works really well.
Hmm.
It was a really interesting thing. So I think one of the things that Charles does sometimes, especially I think he's with one of the other patients that were in C.A.T.S with him.
Hmm.
But I'll let you go ahead and ask the question. Overall, for me, I really like this song. It's a really good song. But go ahead.
Yeah, he asked the guy, yeah, what makes a person appear as an enemy? And I thought it was an interesting question because the question is kind of not open ended, but it leaves like a little bit of open ended in the question because appearing as an enemy and actually being an enemy are two different things, right?
Yep.
So I'll ask you, what can make somebody appear as an enemy to you?
I would kind of go with the same thing the guy said. I know you couldn't really hear it as much, but just someone having like an opposing thought or view as you on certain situations or certain ideals.
Mm,
It's one of those things where uh I think for me, just to like signify it just for myself, when someone, especially when they blatantly do something the opposite of you, like in spite of you, I
mhm,
can see that more being like you're trying to appear as an enemy. Like you said, of course, there's a difference between just being an enemy and appearing as one, but that's the whole threat in the beginning. Like you're trying to make me think you're not on my side or whatever the case is. So you're probably trying to say or do something that's going to make me recognize like, okay, I can't trust you or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? So like especially when someone does something like that to me, when you blatantly do something that I don't fuck with, you know what I mean? Especially if I
mhm.
kind of like voice that out. Like if I was to be like, yeah, man, I don't like if I'm wearing this Bret Hart jersey. If I was like, yeah, man, I don't fuck with Shawn Michaels fans, no, nothing against them. It's just, I really don't respect Shawn Michaels as a person. Then someone says, oh, well, that's my favorite wrestler of all time. My favorite part was when, he put Bret Hart in the sharpshooter and yeah, when you do something like that
Yeah.
blatantly, it's like, come on, bro. All right, so you're getting knocked out anyway. So all right,
Oh wow, damn! You ride for Brett like that?
I don't, but it's the principle. It's principalities. It's like you said, you're doing it on purpose to make yourself appear as an enemy. Like it's not like anything else. Like oh well, I just don't really like Bret Hart. I'm like okay, agree to disagree, but you're like now you're trying to push my buttons on purpose. So it's like you're not just trying to be an enemy. You're actually trying to harm me at this point. So just an example. But what about you? Like for yourself, what can someone do to make themselves appear as an enemy for you?
Yeah, I think you kind of like on the right path, man. And it's like I don't. For people who have opposing views, that's fine. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's no one's gonna agree on the same things, and that's cool. Like that, I think that doesn't make you an enemy. That just makes you somebody with a differing point of view, and that's cool. That's fine. I think the problem is when you do something that purposely stops me from advancing in towards my goal. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like, let's just use work as an example. If I'm working and I'm like, hey, you know, I need this done. I need this to get something done. And they're like, okay, I'll what's call it? I'll get it to you. And then they don't get it to me in time. Like I told you, I expressed to you how, hey, I need to get this done by 3:30, and it's 1 o'clock now, so I'm giving you like 2 hours to be able to at least give me what I need, and then you don't do it. You may not be an enemy, but now you appear as one because now you playing with, you know what I'm saying? Because you playing more money, and my time. Because now I feel like I gotta stay after to finish what I gotta do, and that's if there's one thing that Brandon Braxton don't do is stay after. I don't do overtime. I don't believe in that. That's you get 8 hours. That's it. That's my jail bid every day. You feel me? Um, but I feel like too, like it's like people can people can appear as an enemy, but really be like a friend in disguise, right? Like some of your favorite video games, like somebody pops out of nowhere, dudes in like dark clothes. He always pops up at weird times and like intercepts you or something, and it appears that he's trying to push you off your course, and those people can appear as enemies, but really they're trying to guide you a certain way. So I just want to make sure that we're focusing on the difference between appearing as an enemy, someone who may look like they're trying to stop you from doing something, versus somebody who's I'm trying to stop you from doing something, you know?
Yeah, I could respect that just because at the end of the day, like you said, if you might have the best intentions for me, but if I'm narrow-minded, I might not see it in the beginning. So I might
Mhm.
not even see that. And then later on, as the story progresses, hopefully my character gets some character development. And
Right.
then it's like, oh, that's why you did how you did, because any other way, I probably would have took it the same way. So it's like, you were trying your best to try and, be covert about it. So yeah, you definitely got a point with that.
Yeah. Um, Follow up with let me make sure I get the title of this correct. Miss Jarrett's turtle poster.
All right, let me let me speak on this one. So I completely forgot this is on the tape. I remember hearing this and I'm like, okay, I know the sample's cool, whatever. And when Charles was first rapping on there, I'm like, all right, I'm okay with it, whatever. Hook comes in, and then I'm like, this is getting catchy. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna play this back. I was walking while I was listening to this the first time. I'm listening to it, played it back again, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I've played this back like 3, 4 times. I'm not even done like the tape yet. I'm playing songs back. Have you ever done that before? Where you're listening to like a certain tape or whatever? It doesn't even have to be Charles, but like you're listening to certain songs and you're playing it back, and like you're playing it back, but then you just realize, bro, I haven't even got through the whole song yet. This is like 3 or 4 times I played this back. God damn. Yo. So for me, I'm like, damn, I actually like the song a lot more than I thought I did. And
Yeah.
then that hook is catchy, man. JARRETT. No more. I'm like, oh shit. Like
Yeah.
that had me bouncing and shit like that. Pause, pause, pause.
I
But
didn't say
anyway,
anything.
yeah, I know, but I gotta say it for Charles, because Charles does some funny shit, sometimes. Whenever we have these comments. So for me, I'm going to say this right now. I'm not sure what my favorite song was before on this tape, but this is officially my new favorite song from this
Mm,
tape. I feel like it's very underrated. I don't see that many people talking about it.
yeah.
Beats dope, the interchanging flow. Like he does a little bit of the double time, but he only does it for a short amount of time. And this is where I think it works. I think we're talking about ill doesn't mean classic on certain tapes like that, where he's trying to do like a double time
Hmm.
and it just didn't fit. It didn't fit well because it's just like you're forcing it. On here, it's like this is the perfect beat to do it on, and then you only do it for a little bit, then go back to the regular flow. Hook was catchy. I'm not sure who Charles is talking about, like Mr. Jarrett, but also on the in the beginning he said, excuse me, Jenny Baker said, I could make outgoing calls. So can I Jones with you for a minute?
Hmm.
Like jonesing on the phone phone. You on the phone. You were on the phone. You were communicating. You speaking. You feel me? One thing I will say for all y'all, even Charles, you gotta be careful because he said something about tapping the turtle shell. Listen, you out here tapping turtle shells. You know what I mean? There's only two ways it can go. You try and get that cowabunga, or you might get shell shot. You know what I mean? So, hey, just letting you know. I see where he's coming from. You know what I mean? But this is definitely my favorite song from the stick now.
How long did you come up with that cowabunga shell shock shit?
It didn't take long. It's literally turtle poster, like turtle power. You know what I mean? He's trying to give her or get that turtle power from Miss Jared, I guess. So you know what I mean? Just I
Trying
mean, I
trying
mean
trying to give out that bow staff?
something. You know what I mean? Might give her a sigh, little sigh
Yeah.
action.
Yeah. I okay. Anyway. I like the song a lot too. I'm with you.
Wait, hold on. You never played the turtles back in the day, like Turtles in Time?
Bro,
Hey, you ever play
yes.
those?
No,
Okay.
I love those games. Me and my
I got,
son went to the arcade to play it very recently.
oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. And we played the new jump, the Shredder's Revenge. That's a fire game too, by the way.
Oh,
Fire.
I had when that came out, I remember that was like one of the first things I downloaded. I'm like, bro, because like I've always been like a beat 'em up person, like
Yeah.
any type of games. I'm like, bro, me and my brother would play those all the time. So I'm like, yeah, I rock with that.
Super fire. It's a good record, man. I like it. I'm like you, the flow changes were the most important thing about this song. Like you said, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like you get like the first eight, he might do it for the double time flow for like four, maybe six, and then goes right back into like regular flow. And then again, like that hook is, that hook reminded me of legendary IC champion Jeff Jarrett.
Oh yeah, oh yes, yeah.
J
That's the
E
first thing I.
double F J A double R E double T. But yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, it definitely sounds like he's risen somebody up on his song. Um, so yeah, this is one of my favorite records too. I would say it's really high up on the list. In fact, this is a good stretch of songs. We had at Beyonce, really good record. Miss Jarrett, good record. And then we get into this one, man. This is the one that I feel like everybody has talked about this tape. Everybody brings it up. If they say, if you bring up this tape, this is the first song they bring up normally. Smokey Robinson's L's.
Poetry in motion, go to sleep when open, wake up unattracted. Unattractive is never gonna happen, so just do a backflip, let your ass touch my lips. I could be talking to the corporate university or the chick that flirts with me, but either way, certainly. Kinda hurts my feelings cause y'all don't really know the perfect me. It hurts to sleep. And this is poetry again, you know I'm going in. Smell the Newport just blowing in the wind.
My notes, literally, it's the only thing I wrote. Too fucking short. I would love multiple verses on this song. The beat, fire. The hook, amazing. The verse, dope. Everything about this song is great, except for the fact that it's 2 minutes long.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm not sure exactly what made this song the most known song on the tape, but definitely it is. I remember. So before Animal Vision was even a thing, there was someone that made a music video for it back in the day, where like the music video is like, Charles talks about drowning a lake in the pool, um, and the video was like a clown like going around places and just being miserable and upset. Clowns are supposed to be happy, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like that. It's kind of like when a clown has that downtime, like who cheers the clown up? You feel me? Um, and if you guys never seen the videos, it's like two different videos because there's one by Anarchy and then another one by Jay Dugan. I know he was like a old school Charles Hamilton StarCHaser. I'm not sure if he still listens these days, but I definitely remember seeing his name float around a lot. But really good song, like you said, short. It's hooks melodic, great delivery. Really great song, just really short. But it's one of those things where I'm like, man, like I don't know what Charles was thinking when he came up with the song, especially with the name title, but still it's a really good song. Really good song.
Yeah, I think this is that L that Smokey Robinson smoked when he made that one song. Gang banging.
No, no. Sipping out wine. Also, even though I'm fast forwarding, he might have like picked up that L again and smoked it again because wasn't that album he came out with called Gasms? My man's
Yeah.
like 50 years old talking about gasms, talking about some orgasms. Like, come on.
Dog, go sit your old ass down, bro. God damn. Live off them royalties, bro. Like, go sit down, dog.
Like you got it, bro. You already did what you had to do. We already recognize you as a legend. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to make music, cool. You know what I mean? But gasms, bro, nah, you don't need to be talking about that at all. At all.
Oh, Smokey. The next song is C.A.T Said I Can Dish You. Night to School, though.
So
Oh, I
this
know where this is going.
yep, you do. But here's the thing though. It's a lot of stuff I gotta talk about.
Yeah,
So with this song, technically I could see other people saying this is the most known song
sure.
on the tape because of how problematic it is. And this might be a reason why a lot of people like don't talk about this tape as much because you hear the song. Number one, shout out to Knife Wonder, amazing beat by Knife Wonder. I think at the time people on Twitter told Knife Wonder, yo, Charles rapped on your beat, whatever. And he acknowledged it, saying, oh, that's what's up, you know.
Mhm.
Obviously it's not like an official whatever. But anyway, Charles, this is everyone. Charles, first thing he starts off, what do you say? Ross and Jeezy suck jigga dick. Y'all can
Yep.
tease me. I don't give a shit. It's like, damn. Talks about Lil Wayne, talks about Drake. He mentioned Jadakiss. Um, let me not forget. Waka Flocka had sex with a fucking fish.
Did say that.
Truer words have never been spoken. You know what I mean? That's one of the things where like, did he have sex with a fucking fish? Maybe he did. I don't know, but maybe he did. I guess so. You know, I'm just going with it. And then
Right.
that hook was crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's aggressive Charles. Charles wasn't really aggressive on any of these other songs or whatever. Like, yeah, moments, but this is like really him just like setting shots, blocker, popping noggin like I'm not supposed to. But you
Yeah.
know, he was going crazy. Um it's talking more about other people. Let me see my other notes I have on here. Okay. Here's here's the biggest thing that I see, other than Charles like creating so many other problems, because it's like, okay, he talks about all these other rappers. He just got out of, Cats. And like I said, the I guess it was Complex or whoever I just said, they're
Mhm.
like, hey, shouldn't he focus on just making like just really good music instead of controversy? And it's like, oh, here this is more controversy, and he's just getting out. And most people would be like, yo, who the fuck is this Charles kid? That's just more hate to like pile onto him. And
Mhm.
then not only did that happen, then he talks about young Nate. He disses young Nate on this song. And I quote, young Nate don't want gunplay, he wants come and tongue play. He's gayer than Bishop Bonner on a Sunday. Part of me is just like, yo, is Bishop Bonner like, is he like just like regular on the other days? And then on Sunday he's just like extra gay or something like that. I'm like,
Yo,
yo, why?
Doug, what?
Why is he gayer? He's gayer than him on a Sunday. Like, but neither here nor there. I'm
Maybe
just like,
he's reverse Chick-fil-A.
yeah, it's like damn. Um, but this was crazy just because um a lot of us we were just like, why is he dissing young Nate? The
Yeah.
fuck is going on? So then that became a thing, and then like I remember Nate had mentioned Charles a couple times on like a song or two. Nate had a song called I think it's called Feelings, Fuck How You Feel,
Mhm.
where he kind of sent some jabs Charles' way, and then it's like this thing where like, oh shit, well, if they're not working together, then is the Memphis breaking up? Like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Overall, let me get back to the song though. Overall, it's a good aggressive song. You know what I mean? Regardless of the disses and whatnot, I think it's a good song. Like I said, Knife snapped on the beat, but it's a lot of controversy surrounding the song. How do you feel about it?
There are songs that are very unnecessary and very just out of the blue. Doesn't need to happen. Some of the things that are said on songs, just you just like, why would you say that? And it can dampen like the way you feel about it, right? This is an unnecessary song. There are unnecessary things said in this song. But this song slaps. I'm gonna be honest. This
It
is
does.
this song slaps so hard, bro. I listened to this. I was like, dog, why is he? Because then it makes you think about like all the times when like Charles be like, oh, I would love to collab with people, and it's like I would love for you to collab with people too. However, there's been just a history of you just snapping at people and just what's called it, and not in a Kendrick control first snap at people, but like really going at people. You know what I'm saying? And just saying certain things about them. So it's like that kind of juxtaposition doesn't really help him. As a listener, though, oh, the joke is fire. It's that hook is fire. Those verses are amazing. Like you said, Knife does a crazy job on that beat. So, as unnecessary as it is, it's really good.
It definitely is. It's really good. Like I said, that's another thing too. Because for example, like you'll hear Charles always, big up Eminem, be like, "Yo, Eminem gave me a shout out." You know what I mean? He, their history with that. But then you hear on this song, M's trash, this and that, whatever. And it's one of those things where like he said that on a couple songs though. Like
Yeah,
he said Eminem's this, Eminem's that. But then you'll hear Charles always be like, "Yo, I always fuck with Eminem," and it's like, bro, like, do you? Do you really fuck with Eminem? Like, bro, because like it's like you say so much stuff, and like you said, it's not like the Kendrick like, hey, I got respect for y'all, but like lyrically, I'm trying to murder y'all on a beat. It's like even if Charles, if you are doing that, it's like it don't come off that way. Especially
right.
with the young Nate thing might have been different because I'll say this: if someone said to me, I don't want gunplay, I want come and tongue play, it'd be problems. It'd be fucking problems, bro. Because anything else, like, yeah, you're trash, you suck, you this and this, you're a bitch, whatever. Come and tongue play, yo. Hey, yo, that's definitely like I've heard of crossing the line, but that's like several lines. That's like Hulk stomping for real. Like, okay, wow. But song's fire. Song's definitely fire though. So
Super fire. It was very aggressive. And I remember those Nate songs. I think even Show and Nate had a jump together that they did that was kind of like, aiming at the situation, maybe not Show so much, but Nate for sure. Um, those Nate and Show tapes were all right too. One day we might have to go into some of those. They got some good records.
yeah,
Um,
they definitely do because with Nate, I know he kind of had to realize, okay, like I kind of put him in like the I guess the Lloyd Banks situation because when Lloyd Banks had to go on his own and like kind of fend for his own, it's like okay, well you don't like 50, what Charles would be 50, you know what I mean? It was like
mhm,
hey, I put y'all on, now it's y'all's time to shine or whatever. So
yeah,
with Nate, he was coming out with songs and projects or whatever on his own and trying to build his own name without Charles, and of course, um Charles, I don't think Charles really had a falling out with Show because I really didn't hear him say too much about Show at that time. But of course, him and Shalik, they would go back and forth a little bit, but it's the same thing with anything else. Like they're all brothers at the end of the day, and like for the most part now, they're cool. They're on like decent terms, you know what I mean? Especially they've always like made up and have always said, "Yo, that's my brother." We might get at each other, but that's just what we do. So it's
yeah.
like that's good to know. So.
Yeah, so Charles did go at a lot of people on that record. There was one name that was very inconspicuous when he did mention, I'm setting you up for this next record for you to do the thing that you are gonna do.
Well,
The next record is Who is from the 10th.
oh wait, first off, this is on our CH mix. This is the song that between this and Jeff Distance,
Correct.
me, So if you guys haven't checked out the CH the Chex mix, please check that out.
Yeah.
Um, not sure what I'm supposed to say, what you're setting me up for.
It's just not
Can I tell you how I feel about the song though? I know
sure. You can
okay.
absolutely do that.
Okay, I'll keep it short and sweet because we kind of spoke about it before on that CH episode, the CH Chex Mix episode. Uh, I've always loved this beat, always loved this song. Longest song on the tape, I think it's like 7 minutes or something like
Right.
that. And, uh, kind of similar to the At Beyoncé song, where like near the last like 2 minutes, Charles is talking about he's talking to the other, I guess, patients in there,
Hmm.
and that's one cool thing that Charles does. Like he's always like made sure, even if you aren't an artist, he'll like record shit and let people be involved in his projects, even if they aren't an artist. So it's one
Hmm.
of those things where like song wise, it's not the greatest because it makes the song like even longer, but that beat's fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, here's how I feel about that beat, man. I love that beat as much as J. Cole loves riding his bike. Speaking of J. Cole, how's parent teacher night, nigga?
There we go.
I set my own shit up, nigga. Don't
My
set me up
fault.
for
My
nothing.
bad. That's me. That's me. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Nah, but real quick, other than that, if anything, negative wise, maybe he could have cut like a verse out, because like I said, it's a
Mm.
longer song. But I really like the beat. I really like the song. So I'm like, you know what? It's cool. It's whatever. But really good song. How you feel about it?
Yeah, I like the record. Bop. And, there's a reason it's on our mix for a reason. It is the longest song on the tape, and that last 2 minutes. I do like that he does the behind the scenes thing. That's really cool. Um, Not sure if it's needed here. Could easily be a 5 minute song if we just did that. Um, I will say the only thing I didn't like or that was noticeable that I notice it every time I listen to it now, there's one time on the hook where it really slows down. Like, and I said, wait, am I bugging? But he set the hook again afterwards and it's normal speed. I'm like, bro, I hope I'm not tripping.
Nah, I think what it is. So when something sounds like that, it's because like let's say when you're putting a verse or a hook on a beat, when you
Hmm.
obviously put it on beat, it's going to sound how you expect it to. If you
Hmm.
put it a little bit behind, even a tiny bit behind where it's supposed to be on the cue, it's
Yep.
going to sound like off. So that's what you're talking about. It sounds like a little off, but it's not that off. It's just noticeable. Because I've done that before, like with my own songs, where I'm like. And I just attribute that to if you're like listening to music for like way too long when you're trying to mix and master something,
Hmm.
you might miss that because just like you sometimes gotta take the headphones off, the earbuds out, kind of walk away from the music and then come back to it. And then you kind of
Yeah.
realize, oh shit, like I was kind of off a little bit. Just I know there's a name for it. There's some type of name for it, but I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I've noticed that too.
Yeah. But other than that, it's a good song. Like I said, the beat is it's kind of layered, you know what I'm saying? Because it does, you get that bass line drop and then you get like a little bit for the verse, like it softens up for the verse. And then when it's about to go right back into the hook, right back again, right? So I like the beat a lot. Um,
You got to take your time when you pick it back up. This is unrelated, but also related. I'll make it quick. I think it was last week. Charles called me after one of the episodes, and we were actually talking about just getting older and having kids and shit like that, right?
mm,
And I asked Charles, I'm like, wait, have you ever had to go to any parent teacher conferences? Because he's talking about like, how so many parents have came up to him saying, yo, you help my kid out with this and that, with their emotions and blah blah blah. I'm like,
yeah.
have you ever gone to any parent teacher conferences? He's like, no. I'm like, you know what I'm talking about, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, I know. I had to bring that up.
Oh God. The tape ends, man, with "Be in the Rain."
Then go at it with you raw until you slay me. Trying to outdo you all. This is all you. Our nudity causing new fall. I see you in the rain. Me and you in the rain. And what we do in the rain can in the rain. I'm trying to feel. Deny if it's real.
Um, I think this all might be underrated, honestly. I feel like it should get spoken about more because I feel like hmm, I feel like it has that old school at the time, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't call it old school at this point. It's 2011. It's probably what people wanted from Charles at the time, right? This is probably the record that feels the most like that. Like you could pick this up and put it on a different record, like maybe like a awkward or like any other tape from the previous era, right? And it would fit perfectly because it feels like that. It's a good record. It's a third B reference, I believe. So Beyonce is just getting all the love at this point. Um, but it's a good record. I like it. I think it works as a perfect outro to me. So yeah, I think it's a good way to end the tape.
So yeah, first off, shout out to Shalik bringing 88 back. That he's the one that made the beat. When I looked at comments for people saying what's their favorite songs, this was like the most
Nice.
popular comment, most popular
Nice.
song. So at the time, I can't say that it was like underrated. Maybe nowadays, but the people haven't heard this tape, like the newer fans haven't heard this tape, I
Hmm.
would like to see how they feel about the song compared to some of the other ones. it might still stand the test of time where people say, "Oh no, this is definitely the best song on the tape." You know, when we
Yeah.
get newer fans to listen to this. Shalik Snap, he blacked as usual. Like you said, third Beyonce mention. Um, Something made me think. I'm like, bro, like, and also her name is 3 times in there. It's not like it's just 3 Beyonce references. No, her name is in 3 different titles. You know what I mean? Technically, not in this one, but "Be in the Rain," you know, it's about Beyonce. He says, "Hey," he mentions her name in the song. So I'm like, damn.
Mm.
And I was wondering, I'm like, bro, like, when did Beyonce? Why did she get so many mentions on this? And I don't remember like her getting this many mentions on this tape. And then I had to go do some research. I'm like, when did Gynophobia 2 come out? If you guys aren't familiar, Gynophobia 2 is not the same as the first Gynophobia, because Gynophobia 2 is just all beats and it's
Yep.
all Beyonce
Yep.
samples, all Beyonce flips. You know what I mean? So this was another thing at the time where Charles wasn't talking about Rihanna as much, mentioning Beyonce a lot more. So it's kind of like, damn, like Beyonce replaced Rihanna on here. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Overall, I really like this song. Like the hook too. Overall, great outro. I would agree with you on that, the outro thing. Uh, I want to know. I'll ask Charles if he's able to answer it here. But was it something Beyonce was putting in the air? You know, because I think I remember like 2011, 2012, where everyone obviously like Beyonce, they always have, but like it did seem like 2011, 2012 was when like she started like just really being in everyone's faces, and everyone was like really on like that hype train for Beyonce. Not saying they
Mm-hmm.
weren't on it before, but like a lot more. Because I thought about it myself. I'm like, bro, like I remember uh I rapped on either like Charles beats that he had for Beyonce when he flipped or whatever. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? I started like I had like 3 other songs around this time where I remember mentioning Beyonce, and I'm like, wait a minute, I did this shit too, and I didn't even fucking know. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Real quick, I have to say this. I told Charles because he told me some stuff about Beyonce that I won't mention on here. But the song I had, Beyonce at the Super Bowl, when they were at the Super Bowl for the Ravens,
Yep.
I had a lyric that said, "I did her in the butt." What was it? Oh, I did her in the butt. I was really in the crack house, and I'm like, yeah, that's a bar. I don't know why, but that was a bar. So did her in the butt. I was really in the crack. I was really in the crack house. I was
Right.
really
Yeah.
there. So I don't know what was up with the Beyonce hype or whatever, but I guess I fell for it too. When I kind of like thought about it, I'm like, damn, like I was in there too. So, but really good song, really good outro. Interesting though with what the Beyonce mentions.
Yeah. I'm looking at the 2011. She dropped 4, which had "Love on Top," "Party," "Countdown," um, "1+1," "Run the World," "Girls," "Best Thing I Never Had." So I mean, it really is at the height of like I feel like she really was about to cross over. So this was the one right before the actual self-titled album. So like she's right in that era where she's about to start really like going crazy.
Yeah,
Um so yeah, like you said, 3 mentions. Actually, it's crazy because it starts off with Beyonce. The exact middle of the tape is Beyonce, and the tape ends with Beyonce. Don't know if that was purposely done, but
and then the thing about it now, because I didn't think about it then, but he starts it off saying, you know, is Beyonce really with Jay-Z? And then he ends up in the rain with her. He sees her in the rain,
yeah.
trying to feel. And I don't blame him. Trying to. He's trying to feel. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't. Hey, I get it.
I mean, we're
I
all trying to feel. You feel me? Yeah.
so then is Beyonce? No, not well. B is B. B is Beyonce, but is C J? You know what I mean? Is was that what Charles was saying? He was really Jay-Z the whole time?
I can never keep up, man. I'm gonna be honest. I try. I need to start jotting it down to really keep up. I'll make one of those spider webs. I don't know if you ever seen like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but there's a meme where like the dude has like a whole spider web of just different stuff, and that's how it feels sometimes. I'm like, bro, I'm trying my hardest.
Hey, I mean, this is one of the things where Charles could tell us, you know, he could fill us in if possible. Otherwise, you know, hey, we could just, you know, we'll figure it out at one point. One day we will.
But we just in the C.A.T.S Can, man. Let us know what you are giving it as far as review. Let us know any pros and cons, and let us know what character rating you're giving it, Mike.
Okay, so like I said, when I first heard this tape, I was like, oh, it's okay. I never really went back to it much. Like the songs I would usually go back to would probably be like Who's from the 10th. Every now and again I listen to Cat Said I Can Dish You. Nice is cool. Um and then recently I started listening to Jeff Diston again. But that was it, you know. So listen to this now, and like I said, I listened to it a couple times, and I'm like, yo, what happened? Because like I
Mhm.
told you, how everyone else felt about it. There was like some people that liked it, but there's a good amount of people that said they didn't like it, or they said this was a weak comeback for Charles. Me
Mhm.
listening to this now, I like damn near, like I said, I like every song on here. Like the quote unquote weakest song for me would be Linda Cole's entrance music, but
Mhm.
that's grown on me. Everything else I like on the tape.
Right.
I wouldn't skip. Like that's the only song I would maybe skip. So I think this tape got overshadowed by some of the drama, like I said, the disses, some of the stuff Charles was saying. Of course, you know, when he started, you know, getting really cryptic, that's what threw a lot of people off, and people realized, hey, maybe I'm not as big as a star chaser as I thought I was. But
Mhm.
for me, um, I think a lot of y'all were tripping. This is a really good tape. This is a really good tape. Supersonic. I'm giving this a supersonic.
Wow.
I like I said, this is one of the tapes. I don't know why I didn't listen to it as much, but now I'm putting this like in my rotation to listen to, like stuff like
Okay.
this, uh attempted swag, stuff like that, where like at the time I'm like, it's okay, but now I'm like, this is definitely a lot better than I think people would have gave it, you know. But I'm giving this supersonic. Really good tape.
I'm not mad at that, bro. I respect that. Um, I could see why at the time people thought this was a quote unquote weaker comeback because again, at this point, Star Chasers are in this mindset that I've listened to this for the last 3 years and this is what I'm expecting, right? So when they didn't get exactly that, I think that it was an automatic, this isn't good, yada, whatever, blah, blah. You know how people were back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, I think with hindsight, I think this tape is perfect for that in between people. So like those 2013, 2014 people who found Charles during that era and the OGs 08 to 2010, I feel like this is the perfect mix between both because it has that unpredictability as far as like the verses and the rapping that, the latter part of Charles's thing had versus like the production and it's like the stylistically of what he would do of the previous show. It's like it's not nearly a perfect medium, but it's a really decent medium. Um I'm gonna be honest, I initially was like, this is okay. It's not like crazy great. I was coming in probably with a knuckles. Um, but as I went through it today and we went through it and I listened again, I was like, it's not bad, man. This is actually a good tape. Um, Again, I don't see people talking about it enough for me. It seems like it goes under the radar because it's in that middle period, that 2011, which seems like a dead zone era for like Charles because of all the stuff that he went through during that time. So for me, because of that, I'm gonna give it a tails because I think it's vastly underrated at this point. Um, of the 11 songs, I would say I love probably one, two. I love about three or four, and like about like total seven. So I think that's a great number for a tape that I wasn't anticipating being like, oh, this is amazing, right? So yeah, I would say definitely if you haven't listened to it yet, go listen to it. I think you're gonna find some gems here.
And I'll say, anyone that didn't like this tape back then, I'm not sure what you've listened to since, but I would tell people, give it another try, listen to
Mhm.
it again, and tell me that you think that this tape is trash. You know what I mean? Because some of y'all, I'm like I said, when I first heard it, I didn't think it was trash. I'm like, it's okay, but listen to it now and compared to like what I've listened to since
Mhm.
since 2011, no, this tape is definitely a lot better than what people thought. Like this tape's fire to me. Like I said, I could see you saying wow, it's underrated because obviously nowadays the newer fans, I'm not sure how far they've gone back, but you
Mhm.
know, if you guys are watching this will help you out. Say, hey, you know, I don't know anything about 2011 or 2010, 2012 era, so let me do my research. So check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. You trash should be used for like or like hate should be used for very specific things. Like you can't just be throwing out that word. Like trash to me is like love. You shouldn't just throw out the word, just be throwing out the word. There are some things that absolutely should be attributed to those words. So let's all just take a step back, maybe think about what we say, and just explain and express ourselves correctly. But while you're doing that, let us know how you feel about C.A.T.S Can. What are your favorite songs? How did you feel about this as a comeback tape? And how do you feel about it today, man? Let us know. You can let us know over at YouTube, StarCHaser Central. Subscribe over there. You can also follow us on Twitter, StarCH Central. And you can follow us on our individual pages. I'm at Stick Around 54, STIK Around 54 on Twitter and Instagram. Mike, where can they find you, buddy?
On Instagram, the Mike Jackson, THE Mike Jackson. On Twitter, Mike D Jackson, Mike DEE Jackson. That's 1D, 2 E's. Holla at me. Make sure you guys are following Charles on Twitter at Charles Hamilton. Make sure you're subscribed to him on his YouTube channel, The Talented Mr. Hamilton, where about every Friday he does a live. Sometimes he might do an extra one. He might drop some songs here and there. You never know. By the time you guys watch it's going to be later, but he dropped like a song or two like last week, I think it was. So make sure you're subscribed to him. Also, if you're not in tune, make sure you are checking out his blog where he explains certain lyrics, certain songs, just future plans. enterthehamilton.blogspot.com. There it is.
Yeah, man. Be sure to let us know what you want us to review next, man. I think we're doing a good job of kind of bouncing around different years. Still want to do that Lucy special eventually. I just thought as we were talking about like certain people and certain rappers, I thought about one. I was like, was that on a tape? I think it was on like one of the bonus tapes, but put that to the side. But let us know what you want to listen to, man. Any tapes, any specials you want us to do, shoot them over on either our individuals, on the StarCHaser Central podcast, YouTube, wherever you want to hit us up at, or the Discord. Discord also works. Um, yeah, I think we're doing a good job. Mike, you want to say anything to the people before we head out?
Other than the usual, thank you guys for checking out another episode. Stay in tune with us, stay in touch, you know what I mean? Let us know how you feel, you know. Well, other than that, that's it.
Right. We are logging out, man. Logging out of the StarCHaser Central podcast, where we always encourage you to follow your dreams
And reach for the stars.